So for this video, I'm going to go over the PSD for your Live2D model, what it should look like, what things to cut up and what not to cut up, as well as the different formatting for the Live2D file. So let's get into it. For this tutorial, I'll be using my Athena 2.0 model. So let's start by going over all of the different parts. So if you see over in this section here, I have all of the body parts in folders. This isn't a simple thing of just arm, leg, and head, and then hair as in one like PNG. They're actually split up into different areas. So with the head, you have the brows, the face, ears, nose, and mouth. For the hair, you have the front, side, and back, and any other pieces. For the fringe, you might have the fringe split up into pieces. Any extra strands. The body includes the neck, bust, arms, clothing, and legs. And then the eyes are probably one of the most split up areas. You have top lash, bottom lash, side lash, eyelids, eye white, eye pupil, the eye color, and highlights. So let's get into some of the details. We'll start off with the hair. So with Athena's model here, I have the hair split up into 3 areas, not including the shave. So the hair, one thing that's important when doing with the art of a Live2D model is don't cut things off where you can't see them. I will make note, where are we? Where's my face deeds? The shadow, it is extended more than what is actually on the face. And you separate everything. So I've got the shave, the highlight on the face, forehead, and then of course the blush, which I have not named. That's another thing, name all your layers. This may be a very long process, but it makes life 10 times easier for the rigger. That's the face. My nose is, on her model, is actually split up into 3. I just find it easier for when I'm rigging my models. Your rigger for your model might like it just as 1. It's different with every rigger. So I have the shade, the highlight, and then the nose itself. For the eyes, as I mentioned, is the most complex thing. So I have mine split up, as you can see, in lots of layers. It helps with the physics. So I have the eyelids, the white, and then the iris, pupil. I have the color specks. And then 2 different highlight layers because I have different highlights. A lot of these layers are actually all of the lashes. I have them all separated onto their own layer. That way it looks really nice when I do the physics. For the mouth, you want to separate into the upper lip and the lower lip. Make sure it's not just the line. You want to actually incorporate the skin. If I take off the face here, you can see that I actually have the skin for the layers. So I have the upper lip and then the bottom lip. That way the color can be covered. A bit of skin as well to overlay what's under those lips. If we turn on the underneath layers, I have split up into I think 5 different layers. So we have the inner, the back of the mouth. You can put in as much detail as needed into this. I just like to keep it one color and sort of simple. You then have the back teeth for when you go down. I don't actually have this on that model. This is something new that I'm trying out. You have the tongue, and then of course the front and back teeth. I like to keep them outlined so that when you smile, you can sort of see where that where the edges are of those 2 teeth. Clothing. So you want to try and separate up as much as possible for that physics. So I actually have different folders for the scarf. We have the scarf front, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then of course the back. I like to make sure the back is somewhat visible because we will glue the front and back together, so that way when the model moves around it won't separate and look weird. Another nice little touch is keeping the hands disconnected, or it's splitting up the arm from the all the different arm segments. So the forearm, the top of the arm, and then the hand allows for some fresh movement with physics as well. If you notice on this model, if I take off the jacket, you can see the movement between the forearm and the upper arm there, as well as the fingers. Keeping everything separated allows for some really nice movement, and that's what we're sort of looking for here. Other things like horns or tails you want to separate up. A good reference is Brian Sui with a fruits model with her horns. If you need a paper version of the PNG or how you separate the model, I have a reference by __ Himi, who has made a perfect reference that I will link down in the description, which is what I used when I first started as well. You sort of learn as you go on what you need separated and what you don't, but it's a good place to start and I highly recommend it. Okay, so here is my important model into the Live2D software. As you can see, we're a bit all over the shop at the moment. So this is where you have to go through and clip all your clipping layers back to their master layer, simply by, if I click the shadow, there's a clipping ID. So you just need to go down to the master layer, grab that ID there, and go through and clip all of your clipping layers to their master layers. So I'll be back in a sec. Next thing you want to do is get all of the layers that are going to be grouped together in deformers. So the best thing about this is up here in this top left section, you have everything in their ordered folders in the hierarchy. Down here in this deformer column, I can get the hair, and then under all of the other layers you have the back hair somewhere in here. There we go. I can actually group these together in a folder now, and this is what I love about Live2D, is I don't have to go, okay, top hair is up the top here, I've got to go all the way down the bottom to rig the back. No, you can put it all together, it's great. So this one's going to be my hair folder. The only annoying thing about Live2D is there's no folders. So the way you make folders is simply by using an empty deformer to put everything together. So I'm going to go through now and do that. So I will see you in a sec. Once you have finished adding everything into folders, you want to start adding the meshes. I will quickly go over my folders though. As you see, I've got the face, the torso, and arms, legs, and then the tail. With this though, I like to make sure that the arms and the face are inside the torso, and the legs and tail are underneath a lower body folder. That way everything is just neat, and you're just able to see everything. Now with the meshes, it's something you'd probably want to do beforehand, before adding the meshes, because you sort of got to go through everything. But yeah, there's two different ways you can go through with meshing. I do the lazy way and do the automatic mesh generator, which is this button up here. It's more beneficial to do it yourself and draw the dots on individually. But yeah, you can select all of the meshes and just click heavy, and it'll do it automatically. But there can be an issue that comes up where the automatic mesh will be opened and the art for the mesh will just disappear, which I fixed by, if you ever come across this issue, I simply undo and try one of the other meshes that I have, and just try until it works. Once you have, oh, there you go. So this is what happens. What I do is just undo and try a different mesh until it works. And if that works and I still want the other mesh, I will leave this on and then it'll fix itself. So you'll go through and mesh every single layer, and then we go on to gluing. Now that you have done the meshes, what you would like to do is grab the two different meshes that you want to glue together. So I'm going to grab the left leg and the torso here, and I'm going to press this button here. This will highlight those two meshes. Ooh, I have a bit up here. Uh-oh. And you would like to get the lasso button. This is how I lasso, oh my lord. So this is how I usually glue. I know that there are other ways. This is sort of how I learnt to do it. I like to grab the edges of one mesh and where they connect with the other and press Ctrl G. So this will glue some of those vertex together, and we'll keep them together with those two meshes. So whenever I move this leg now, oh, that's not it. Whenever I move the leg, it's going to alter that mesh as well. The last thing you want to do before you start rigging is you want to do your toggles before you rig. I made the mistake of rigging one of my clients' models and adding, and then going to turn the toggles on and off for the model, and turns out I had to adjust the opacity for every single parameter that I had made because I hadn't started off by turning the toggles on and off. So what you do is you simply grab the things that you want to toggle. Now Athena doesn't have any like angry veins or like a question mark or anything. I only have her ghoul form. So I've done this ahead of time. What you want to do is make a parameter that is just 1 and 0, and at one end of that spectrum you want to have everything's opacity turned to 100, and then on the other side you want it to 0, and that will be the toggle to turn stuff on and off. So you want to do that for all of your expressions, anything that isn't meant to be there all the time. And once you have done that and you've got everything meshed up and in their folders ready to go, you can start rigging. And that is the art and setup episode done. The next episode we will focus on head XYZ, and yeah, so I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.